Okay, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Veronika Gregorkova from the Lean Institute, Slovakia, and with a big pleasure, I want to introduce you, Lucia Benskova. Lucia is with our institute for years. She's real lean enthusiast, and in the last year, she really fell in love with coaching and change management. Lucia is working for one of the biggest corporates in Slovak Republic, called United States Steel, situated in Košice City. And today we'll tell you about her experiences, what you shouldn't miss during the lean transformation. All of your questions you can write to the Q&A or to the chat. We will come to your questions 10 or 5 minutes at the end of the presentation. So welcome, Lucka, and stage is yours.
Thank you, Veronika. I appreciate being part of this great event. Good morning or good afternoon to everyone. Today I want to talk about something which quietly shapes the success of each lean of lean transformation and
Lucka, try to turn off your video because it's freezing. Okay. Let's wait shortly for Lucka to be connected again. Hello, Lucka. Okay, you are perfectly back. Just unmute.
Sorry.
Okay,
with the bad connection.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Thank you. So my presentation will be about the silent power of each transformation, which is a change management. Here you can see, and I'm pretty sure that all of you are pretty familiar with the core leadership competencies. What I want to zoom today on is change management competency. According to different surveys and also according to my experience from different projects, according to surveys, 70% of change initiatives fail due to employee resistance and lack of management support. And from other surveys, we know that the organization where senior leadership actively and visibly participate in change and model desired behavior, those organizations can higher the success rate of projects by 5.3 times. From my experience, I see that the most difficult in implementation any lean principles or in implementation lean culture, the most difficult is to cope with people's resistance. Why is it like that? Have you ever heard about metaphor, about the elephant and the rider metaphor? This metaphor, the authors of this metaphor were Chip and Dan Hess. They described it, this metaphor in their book, and the metaphor represents the struggle between emotional and the logical part of our brain. In this metaphor, as you can see at this picture, the rider is our ratio, our logical part of the brain. It's the part which understands advantages, why the change is needed and why it is necessary. But the other part is elephant, which is much bigger than the rider, even bigger than on my picture and this presentation. And the elephant represents emotional, instinct-driven and feeling-driven behavior. For successful lean transformation, it is very important to motivate the elephant and to work with the resistance of the elephant. Because of what elephant can do, elephant can move forward, but it can also stop because of the resistance. Why it is so hard, why the resistance is so hard to work with that? Because each transformation is a challenging emotional journey. And if we are not using change management, if we are not dealing with the people's emotion, so the successfulness of the transformation can go down. And again, according to some surveys, according to EY knowledge analysis, when we are supporting people through their emotional journey, we can increase the likelihood of success by 2.6 times. On the next slides, I would like to present you how we use the change management in our organization and how it helped us in our transformation project. Before I will start, let me talk a little bit about our company. As Veronika already mentioned, I'm working for US Steel Košice, which is part of US Steel Corporation, and it's the largest integrated steel producer in Central Europe and one of the pillars of Slovak economy. And with almost 8,000 employees, it's one of the largest employer in Slovakia. In November 2022, we kicked off the project of ERP transformation, where we were replacing our legacy systems to sub-solutions. And it was really a big project. In case of extensive process scope, it covered processes from record to report, P2P, hire to retire, maintenance, manufacturing, supply chain management, O2C, foreign trade. And it was a big project also in terms of team size. More than 250 US Steel employees were participating in this project. Not all of them on full-time, mostly on the part-time, but still it's a great amount of people. Plus, we had over 100 EY consultants who helped us as integrator. I already mentioned that we have almost 8,000 employees, and from those employees, over 3,000 employees were impacted by this ERP transformation. We call them end users, and it's really a very, very big number of them. With my former boss, Jana, we used to say that to provide change management in such a big project with such many end users, over 3,000, it's like conducting a grand symphony. So let me use this metaphor where change management is the conductor that keeps everything aligned and harmonious. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite you here and please join our symphony of ERP transformation. And I would like to let you more information about how change management helped us in this project. Similar as in a symphony, the stakeholders plays roles similar to musicians and technicians and audience in the symphony. The changes I can compare to new arrangements, instrument swaps, lighting adjustments in the symphony. And the communication I can compare to rehearsals and conductors' instructions. Let's zoom now to basic elements of change management approach, which we used in this project, in ERP transformation. So what was very, very important was stakeholders' engagement. And it was exactly the first task we have done as change management team, that we provided or we prepared the list of all stakeholders. I mean, all managers in different levels of organization who are impacted with the ERP transformation project, all individual contributors, operators, external partners, members of the project team. And it was very important to involve them to the project from the beginning, to understand who they are, what are their perspectives, needs, expectations. It was important to involve them from the beginning and to communicate with them, to incorporate their insight. And with their active participation, it was a much easier to prepare business for such big change as it was for us ERP transformation. Some people think that change management is just a soft skill activity, but it's not true. It has also data-driven element, and this element is change impact assessment. Our project was divided into several work streams. For example, R2R, hire to retire, maintenance work stream, P2P, etc. There were also several cross-functional work streams, for example, change management team, testing team, migration team. And the change management representative, my colleagues, were part of each workshop on the technical side. So all design workshops from the beginning. During those workshops, they were observing and comparing as-is system and processes with to-be systems and processes. And from this comparison, they were identifying people, process, and technology changes. So we were documenting all those changes, and then we were assessing impacts of those changes. On the graph on the right side of the presentation, you can see that we identified 377 changes, and we divided them into 3 levels of impact. It was high level impact, medium level of impact, and low level of impact. In our change management activities, we were focusing mostly on high level and medium level of impacts, which represented 75% of all changes. After assessing those impacts, we joined them or we merged them with stakeholders. So it was important for us to understand which stakeholders groups are impacted with which changes. And we prepared also different interventions to different impacts. What is a third important element of change management is broad communication and engagement. Communication flows from broad messages to detailed guidelines. And we covered with this communication all stakeholders groups and all end users. We started at the beginning, at first phases of the project, we started with the more general information which we were sharing. For example, information about reasons of the project, about the benefits of the project, about the different milestones. And then we went from general information to more specific in other phases. We were, of course, using the inputs which we gained from change impact assessment, which I was just talking about. And we were organizing targeted communication for specific audience. So our messages were tailored to specific audience. What we have learned during this project is that it's also very important to share right information at the right time. For example, targeted communications, which we used for sharing information about change impacts, we provided for some business units a few months, maybe 8 months before the go live. And it was for some business units very early. They haven't paid enough attention because they tell themselves that they still have enough time, that it's still 8 months before go live. And then at the end of the project, they requested us for new sessions, for new deep dive sessions. What is very important is also to use different communication channels. On the next slide, I will show you some examples of ours. And there is a saying in the change management, on the rule of the change management, that you should share message through 7 different ways and different communication channels. And of course, important is to repeat and repeat and repeat unless you get sick of it. What is also very important in terms of communication to be aligned. So all communication campaigns were prepared by central change management team, and then it was cascaded to leadership, to middle management, and to end users. Here you can see some examples of communication channels. As I mentioned already from the beginning, it was more information about general information from the program, and then we moved to more specific. We used a different channel. We were sending monthly newsletters via emails. We were using X-App, what is our company social media application or channel. We were publishing different articles through this channel. We were organizing different workshops with specific communication campaigns. For example, when it was time for launching trainings, it was communication about training. Before go live, it was countdown communication. I already mentioned targeted communication about change impacts. With the roles or positions which were mostly impacted by the change, we organized role socialization workshops. Then we prepared also several video messages with our leadership members. And 1 year, I forgot to mention that we kicked off this project in November 2022, and the go live date was January 2025. So it means that the project took us 2.5 years. And last year of the project, we extended the change community by change champions. Those people were representatives from end users, so people who are influenced by or impacted by ERP transformation. And they were from different parts of the company, from different departments. They were people from operation, from administrative, from maintenance. And they were on different positions. We have also managers as change champions. We have also individual contributors and operators and change champions. And those people helped us to communicate about ERP with their colleagues. They used anytime they could talk about ERP with them, even during having coffee during break. And with those groups of people, we organized kiosks, similar, as you know, from different exhibitions. And at this kiosk, they were asking questions which end user were providing. So that's it about communication. As I mentioned at the beginning of my metaphor, change management is a conductor of this symphony. And the main goal of change management is to prepare business, so is to achieve business readiness for the change and adoption. During our project, we were running 5 surveys, especially at each phase, we were running one. First one was in November 2022, so it means 4 or 5 months from the beginning of the project, and the last one was 2 months before go live in November 24. And during this survey, we were measuring overall sentiment and the likelihood of adoption. And we were very happy that it was increasing from survey to survey. From this survey and also from change champions and also from stakeholders, we were getting feedbacks, and we were continuously incorporating it into our change management initiatives. And last 3 months or 2 months before go live, we started with the trainings of end users. So end users were already engaged. 2.5 years they were getting information about the changes, about impacts, how their daily work will change after implementation of new systems. And the last one, what we did for them was their trainings. As I already mentioned, that it was really big project covering a lot of processes. We prepared more than 270 training materials for specific transactions. So our symphony is almost at the end. So let me briefly summarize what is important when you are providing and when you are using change management approach. So engage stakeholders from the beginning, know who are your stakeholders, understand their needs and expectations. Identify changes, assess the change impact, and prepare interventions. Communicate broadly, use different communication channels. And at the end, you will be ready with preparedness of people and business for the change. What I want to say at the end is that change management is one of the misunderstanding approach in the organizations. I could see that for many organizations or for many people, it's just sexy word for communication and training, but it's not just about communication and training. Communication and training are just small part of change management approach. Change management is about coping, is about engaging stakeholders. It is about tracking changes and providing change impact assessment. It is about aligning the leaders behind one story. It's about anticipating resistance and ensuring smooth transformation of any lean principles or of any project you are responsible for. So I wish you to be a manager who is riding your elephant to proper path, because I see change management as important leadership competency as well. Thank you. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
Yes, there are 2 questions, Lucia. One is from Benjamin. Could you describe a bit more how you did the change impact assessment practically? So change impact assessment, how you did it in practical.
Okay. So as I mentioned, my colleagues were attending all of workshops where there were discussions about old system and the new system. We have Excel sheet where we tracked as is status to-be status. We described there the change. What is the change? What does it mean? Then we were stratificating the change if it has impact on people, on data, on process, if it's something where what people were previously doing manually and now they will do they will provide it in the system, or if it is opposite. Then we assess if the change has a high impact, a medium impact, or low impact. And at the end, we connected or merged all those changes with the stakeholders and with the job positions on which the changes has influence on.
Great.
And after that, we prepared these interventions. If it's enough just to communicate about changes, or people need training, or if we have to create some special focus groups and have some workshops to explain them how their daily work will change.
Perfect. I see Benjamin, thank you. So he is satisfied with this. It was enough practical. We have another question from Jana Novakova. What were the most common questions during kiosk meeting? What people were interested in? Most common questions during kiosk meeting.
Okay, let me recognize some. Those kiosks we provided at different parts in our factory, in different places. And it took a few months between first one and last one. So at this first one, the questions were maybe more about why we need this new system. And at the end, they were more interesting about how the training will be providing and how support people will get. Because we had, of course, also hypercare period after go live, so they were interested that where they can find contacts in case something is not working. So it differs between first kiosk and last kiosk.
Okay, great. We have here also some remark from Oksana. It's not a question. It's a congratulations on the great result. I hope there were no layoffs or criticism. So maybe if you can react.
What I forgot to say, our go live date was, as I said, January 2025. And as you know, for such a long project, I mentioned that it was 2.5-year project. It's very common that projects are not on time. They are not on budget, but we went go live on time. So the date we set it up 3 years ago was achieved, and we are very proud of that.
That's great. That's great. We are happy we can hear you, because maybe you can just stop the sharing. And there is also one more question. Did you measure somehow some real KPI, for the change management at all?
During program, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Yes.
During program, we were measuring, for example, participation of end users at the different workshops. We were preparing for them. We were measuring how many people read articles we prepared for them on exam. We were measuring through those surveys, as I mentioned already, likelihood of adoption and the sentiment. When we were providing trainings, we were measuring participation rate of those trainings. And after we go live, we measured how many incidents, how many tickets people set it up, how many problems did they have.
Okay, very impressive. And did you achieve the KPIs,
yes,
the targets that you gave to you?
Yeah, we achieved. And what was very good that according to those tickets, the problems at the end, the number of tickets during first 3 months was around 300, and it went down on 4 months to 50, and mostly of them were technical, not connected with people resistance.
Congratulations, congratulations. So there is no more questions or remarks, just the signs. Maybe you see it, Lucia, so the thumbs up, the hearts. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, first of all, you, Lucia, for presenting your experience, and we wish you a beautiful day.
Thank you very much. Bye.